Hello everyone, just going to make sure the stream's up and running. Alright, I think we're all good. Hello everyone, and welcome back today for round 6 of the GT Sport League here in the second group here on this wonderful Saturday evening. We're here at Willow Springs, Big Willow, somewhere in the beautiful land of the United States of America. And that's a bit deep for Ted there down at turn 3. On his first quali lap, and yeah, like I was just saying, we're here, round 6, the first race in Group 4, the slowest of the main class of cars this game has to offer. They're kind of like the baby road cars, but as a race car, obviously. Like baby GT3 cars, that's what I'm going to call them for today's stream. But yeah, hope you're having a wonderful day, or if it's the morning, depending on where you are, hope you're having a wonderful morning. But yeah, we're here for this track, Willow Springs. Definitely a very punishing circuit, as a few of the drivers found out in yesterday's race. You can probably tell by the surroundings, there's quite a lot of runoff. And by runoff, I mean a lot of gravel. And when there's a lot of gravel can equal a lot of death. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the race. We have an 18-minute qualifying, we're already 3 minutes in. It's not a very quick lap. A long lap, sorry, so drivers will be making their way around quite a few laps of quali actually. Hello Black Country in the chat. We've got 42 laps of racing here tonight, the same amount as we did yesterday, and yeah, just a few things to go over before we get started. So the Group 4 cars, let's have a look and see what type of cars we have. We have a very Manchester United themed Lamborghini Huracan, currently on provisional pole position. That is Kyler Love. Despite Man United's current run of form, but we'll just gloss over that briefly. Very nice livery actually. I think it does actually work quite well. So we have one Lamborghini at least. We've got two Lamborghinis in the form of Melix Ando's nice black Lamborghini with some nice purpley blue pink kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, on the side. It has a bit of traffic with Ted and Woody up in front, but I think, that was close, and that's not where the Lamborghini should be, but we're going to watch this drift actually. If he can hold this, that's actually quite a nice drift there from Alexandros, but we'll move on to Woody, who's gone for the Jaguar, a popular car last season, mainly in Group A, comes into the pits actually. Wolfie opting for the Ferrari, I think Ted as well, his teammate is in the Ferrari. We've got T-Top is also in the Ferrari, but not where it's supposed to be, on the gravel. Tom the Bomb, one of the few drivers in the McLaren. We saw someone using the McLaren last season. I think it was Daniel Gardenzi last season who used the McLaren 650S. It's a decent car to be fair. Group 3 car, the GT3 car's not bad as well. So let's see how that favours in the course of the next 5 races. Ted's in the Ferrari, the Scout Dan's in the most beautiful Ferrari of them all. Definitely not because I made the livery, but just never mind. We'll talk about liveries during the race. We've got some nice liveries. Another Ferrari. The Ferrari seems to be a very popular choice this year. Not many people went in it last season, but Abyss is in the Ferrari, currently trying to get out of the way of all the oncoming traffic. That was close, but I think Woody's on an outlap. And then we have the most respected man on the grid, the one who's thought logically about what car he should choose. He's in the Subaru, and that got close between him and Wolfie there through turn 8. But the Subaru is definitely going to do very well today. That was also quite close with Cutlery Hands rejoining on the track. But the Subaru was my choice of Group 4 car last season. It's a good car. It is so good in acceleration. Wherever this guy starts, he's definitely going to gain at least 3 or 4 positions by the time we get to turn 1. Quite an underrated car. Does lack a little bit of straight line speed. But heading back towards quali then, Kyler Love is currently on pole position by 8 thousandths of a second from Melix Andos, who's only 600ths clear of Woody, who's only 200ths clear of Wolfie, who's only a 10th clear of ND, who's only 800ths clear of T-Toppers, who's only 300ths clear of Tom the Bomb, who's only a 10th clear of Ted, who's only 5,000ths clear of Dan, who's only 3/10ths ahead of Abyss, and it continues down to Cutlery Hands. The whole grid is separated by 1.5 seconds. I'm sure Cutlery Hands can improve on the 1 minute 19.8. We'll hope to see how high up that Subaru can get. Currently on a set of walnut medium tyres, might be into the pits this lap. But yeah, this is such a closely contested grid and should promote for some awesome racing tonight. I cannot wait to see what this track can provide. I know it can provide good racing. I've had good races at this track before, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yesterday's racing Group 8, I'm going to say it was a good race. We had lots of action in the at the start and at the end of the races, which is kind of how the strategy works for this season, that all the action tends to be at the start and at the end. But just bear with me for 2 seconds, I'm going to see if my audio is working all okay. Yep, we sound good, unlike the shenanigans that occurred last night. Someone's off at the final corner. Let's try and find who that is. That is Tom the Bomb with quite a lot of damage to his McLaren, and will be crawling back to the pit lane. You can't do that in the race, otherwise you will get reset to the track. You have to try and rejoin as soon as possible. Yes, you can cut from turn 1 to the final corner, but the game will reset you. Despite it being legally possible. There were quite a lot of jumps as well that these drivers would be willing to take if they abandoned their lap. You can see the dunes there, like here as the rider on board with Woody, he could just turn right now and go over that nice little jump and severely damage his car. But yeah, some fun facts out this track. While drivers are, I was going to say on their outlap, Woody's off the track here and their career's back on, and thanks for the ghosting system there. Otherwise that would have been an airborne crash. I think that was Wolfie or Ted going past. I think yeah, it was Wolfie going past in the Ferrari. Ghosting is off, but for things like that, especially at this track, it automatically puts it on. It's kind of like when you cut turn 1 at Monza, it automatically resets you back to the track, even if you have to reset the track option turned off. Kind of love though is putting his Italian Lamborghini behind the Italian Ferrari of the Scout Dans, who's currently in 9th place, and the gap between them is just 5.5 tenths. That is how close this grid is. Let's see what Dan can do. Kyler running a little bit wide through the final corner. That is going to cost his momentum and his run going up to the line. Dan doesn't improve, nor does Kyler. That might have been an outlap. He's actually going to go for a move down the inside, sorry. Dan's going to give him the space, but I think they might actually be racing here in qualifying. We've got Kyler Love to the outside. They're just compromising each other's lines. Unless they're going on in-laps, then they're really just holding each other up here. But it looks like their tyres are quite worn, so they might be into the pits for a fresh set of rubber. Kyler Love, though, taking a very unconventional route, and it's actually quite nice seeing these cars going across the grass and the gravel. Sorry, there's not much grass. You can see there a little bit of weeds and little hedges. I wouldn't say you could call them hedges, just little bits of cacti or whatever they are. Mainly at turn 1, on the inside of turn 1. I think that's the only bit of green land within the track. You can see some in the background, but yeah, we've got 8.5 minutes left of qualifying. Not long left to go. It's about 6 laps, maybe 5 laps without pitting, so 4 or 3 laps left for a lot of these drivers. We've got Wolfie's on an outlap, currently in 4th place. He is leading the championship. He's dominated as much as Dutchy has. Menex Andels is going to complete this lap. Can he improve from an 18.3? No, he can't. It's a 19.9. Maybe a crucial mistake that cost him a lot of time. We have ND on a lap as well. Ted's on a lap. Doesn't look like a particularly quick one going around the final corner, already in the 1:16. I think he's going to prepare himself for another lap in that beautiful red, pink and black Ferrari. Really nice job with the colour scheme there on the Ferrari. But T-Top is into the pits, onto the soft compound tyres. I'm not sure if he's starting on the soft. I'll need to just double check that when I go back through the stream and check, because T-Top has kind of been known for making up his own rules in qualifying, it seems, despite the reminders that I send in the chat every week. Seems to be after the sprint race he's forgotten about the tyre regulations. But someone's going round or about to go through the final sector. Who is that? It's Menex Andels going down the final sector, currently 4.5 tenths down in his lap. Hello Piero and James Boyle in the chat. I hope you guys are having a great evening, or a good afternoon, or a great day. I don't know, good morning even. I don't know where you are located in the world. It could be the morning of Australia, or it could be the afternoon of America. I don't know. Currently, it is, I don't know what the time is. I think it's about 8:15 in the UK. But Dan is getting some nice slipstream here. He's on an outlap though, so it won't matter too much. The front two are currently into the pits. Kyler Love and Menex Andels from the medium tyres. They'll be pitting for another set of medium tyres. I've noticed someone's gone off at the final corner, but we're going to finish this lap with Wolfie here, see if he can move his way further up the grid. Ted's able to put himself behind his teammate in 5th place on a 1:18.5. Wolfie's got some nice slipstream from ND, who comes into the pits, so he's going to be alone going up to the line. What's it going to be? It looks like a decent lap. It's more than a decent lap. It's good enough for pole position. It's a 1 minute 18.2 on the medium compound tyres. Comes out just behind the Scout down. I think he's just lifted off there. Might be into the pits this lap. And that is a really good lap from him. 600th clear of Kyler Love. And this track is kind of like the Austria of GT Sport. Austria tends to get quite really close qualifying, mainly in F1. Brazil as well, Interlagos, another short track in F1 that promotes close qualifying. Really close to losing it off the track there. Has lost 5/10 through the middle sector. Let's see if Alexander's he's on an out lap. T. Thomas doesn't appear to be on an out lap. This might be his second lap on the soft compound tyres, considering his last lap was a 19.4. And the one before that was in 1 minute 28.7. Pierre is saying that Wolf is favourite tonight after his pace as a replacement yesterday in Group A. We'll have to wait and see what he can do, but let's see what T. Toppers can do. This looks quick. It is quick, and it's 4/10 clear of Wolfie for the provisional pole spot in that beautiful Martini Ferrari. But I'll have to check if he started this qualifying session on the softs or the mediums. Otherwise, it's going to be another grid penalty at the end of the race. The Scout down though improves and moves his Ferrari up into 8th place. We've got a lot of Ferraris here. One of the Italian cars is currently trying to drift and almost takes out the 50-meter board. Couldn't miss the 20-meter board though, and I think he might get reset to track here as he rejoins the track. Oh no, he's going back round to turn 3 and takes a little bit of air with him and couldn't keep it in a straight line. Thankfully for the ghosting system, there's not a massive crash here. But unfortunate for Alexandros here. Hopefully he can regain his composure. This track is very unforgiving with the lack of runoff and total sea of gravel, you could say. But I've raced here before in league races, and oh dear, that is a little bit of lag. Hopefully that isn't too significant. It looks like it's all fixed itself up. But yeah, my last league race here in the Group 4 cars, I stated this in the Group A stream, which is in the Discord, by the way. Unfortunately, we couldn't stream it to the Gav channel. My audio issues were playing up. This is the second time I'm streaming on PS5 actually, sorry. And I've got all the settings sorted out as Kyler Love now puts it on provisional pole position with a 17.7. Doesn't look like he had any slipstream, unless he had one from Team obviously in the pit for a set of super soft tyres. And that confirms my theory. We will be getting a good penalty if we complete this lap on the super soft tyres. The rules clearly state, and I've clearly reminded the drivers, you cannot change your compounds during quali, except you can put on a fresh set as part of the new rules and regulations. If you're new to the league, the rules and changes that we brought in from last season is that there are 3 mandatory tyres for each race, apart from the sprint races, which we'll have in 2 weeks' time. The softs, the super softs and the mediums, the 3 mandatory tyres, you have to use all 3 of them during the race. And thank you for liking my activity. I think you might be able to see that in the top right. There you go. Thank you, fellow follower, for liking the livery that the Scout Dan is currently using. Yeah, 3 compounds of tyres to use in the race, and whatever one you choose to start on in the race is the one you must do your qualifying time on. So before I start the qualifying session, all the drivers have at least, well, they have 20 minutes to decide what tyre they want to start on. I give 2 warnings saying starting soon and ready, and then after that we go. It's about 1 minute, 2 minutes in between starting soon and ready, just so they can, you know, finish a lap and then put the tyres on that they want to start the race on. The majority have gone from medium super soft medium soft super soft. However, I think that might differ this race, because yesterday we saw an absolutely masterclass strategy performed from FGR Manuel, who made a 3-stop work. FGR Finn as well, sorry. He also made the same strategy work. There is such a big time difference between the 3 compounds, not so much between the super softs and the mediums, but especially the mediums and the softs and the mediums and hards. We don't have the hard tyres, so they don't need to worry about that. But there's such a big time difference between medium and soft. We've seen Dutchy perform it as well in Group A races from the Group 2 cars. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the correct strategy is. One that I can guarantee is not the correct strategy is where Woody currently is, a million miles off the track. Could be letting everyone go through though, or could be having wheel issues. And it looks like Ted has gone off to join him, maybe say hi, have a cup of tea. Lots of people making a few mistakes in qualifying. I don't think the suspension on that Ferrari is suited for the off-roading here in the deserts of Willow Springs. Kyler Love coming around the final corner and out lap. T-Top is coming into the pits. So I don't think he completed that lap on the super softs. So if he goes back to the softs, which is if that's what the tyre he started the qualifying session on, he's fine. If he goes back to mediums, it's still going to be a penalty because he went on to softs, and it doesn't actually look like he's going to change the tyres here. He's just putting in fuel. So it is going to be a penalty for T-Toppers. And also, there is a nice, is it nice? I don't know where the word nice was coming from. I was going to say there's only 14 seconds left in the qualifying session, which means everyone is on their final lap, apart from ND, who's on an out lap, and will get to do one more lap. And yes, Black Country, I am keeping an eye on everything. I went through everyone's tyres at the start when we were looking at liveries, so I have everyone's tyres, which I'll watch back. I also saved the race replays and watched them back afterwards, just to make sure everyone's used the 3 compounds of tyres, make sure there are no collisions or whatnot. But if you bear with me, I'm going to get the live timing up. I'm going to go to the circle map. So you can see here we've got 8, 3, 1, 10, 4. That's the order the guys are going around the track. So we have Dan going around the final corner. Let's see if he can improve on his time. Currently in 8th place on a 1 minute 18.561, set on his 9th qualifying lap. And as he rounds the final corner for the final time in this qualifying session, what can he do? He's got Kyler Love right behind him, getting the good old slipstream that's been reduced for this weekend. Dan doesn't improve. Can Kyler improve? Kyler improves and goes on to a provisional pole on the super soft tyres. He might have been on the mediums to start with, so I have to double check that. Wolfie doesn't improve either. Who's that coming around the final corner? It's Medix Andels. We've got Woody as well just in front. Can he improve and try and work his way up the grid? He improves and goes ahead of Medix Andels, who can't improve on his time. Tom the Bomb can't improve. What can Ted do as he crosses the line? Doesn't improve. His 6/10 down on his lap that he's done. Cutlery hands though, going around the final corner in the Subaru. Let's see what he can do. He's currently 7/10 off a bit. It's going to have to be a good lap from him. I've just realised he is on an out lap. Will not be improving. Who's that behind him? It's ND in 7th place. Does he improve in his time? No, he doesn't. He's 6.5 seconds off the pace. So that's qualifying it then. And it's the Manchester United Lamborghini who's only going to put it on pole position. And if you bear with me, just so I can get the factual information, big words, I can check what tyres Kyler Love started the qualifying session on. But there is your grid. Kyler's on pole, followed by T-Toppers. Woody I've already forgotten, but he'll be back up on screen in a short while. I hope you guys are enjoying the 1080p streams. Finally, I know it's quite nice. But there is the grid. Wolfie was in 3rd, sorry, Woody in 4th. The rest of the grid continues. Actually, we can get confirmation here what tyres everyone started on. Oh, Kyler started on mediums and set his fastest up on super soft, so that will be a grid penalty. But let's remove the UI as we build up the 5 red lights. The engines are roaring. It's lights out and away we go. Who gets the best of starts out of the front, guys? It looks like it's been a pretty even start, considering that the whole grid are almost in their same car, but it's the Lamborghinis who lead into turn 1. Wolfie's going to try and work something around the outside of T-Top. It's a beautiful move there. The Subaru's already making a few positions up from the back of the grid as we look down. Alexander's trying to go down the inside of Woody into turn 2, but we have Wolfie and Kyler going wheel to wheel. So many different colours going through turn 2. Wheel to wheel between the Irishman and the Brits. Who's going to come out on top as Kyler's late on the brakes? Is there going to be enough room for Wolfie to go round the outside? There is. It becomes the inside line though for turn 4. Can he pull this one off? T-Toppers as well, looking for a move down the inside. We've got Ted who's making places up into 4th place as Abyss drifting through turn 5 into 6. But overall, I think we've had a clean start. Don't think anyone's gone off. We have 11 drivers on the grid, and you can see there Abyss closely following at the back. Some dust being kicked off as well. A few drivers running wide through turn 8, down the longest of the straights, I think, unless, I don't know. possibly. But this is all completely flat out in these cars, lifting off, braking at the 150 board. So late for this corner, you don't want to overshoot it, otherwise you'll be off into the shadow realm. Here goes Woody, and Alexander's now going wheel to wheel. The Scout down, and Woody taking some adventurous lines through the final corner as they rejoin back in the track in 6th and 9th respectively. It's going to go through wide between ND, Tom the Bomb, and Woody. Tom the Bomb in a sandwich, but Woody I think is might back out of this one. Going into turn 1, beautiful camera shot there of the cars going through. ND on the outside, Tom the Bomb has put his McLaren up into 6th place. Woody going wheel to wheel. The Abyss who's now going to try and go down inside. Just going to try and keep my attention on this nice battle here. Abyss to the inside of Woody. Can he put the Ferrari up into 8th place? He can't just yet. Just going to have a quick look up into the top 4 drivers who seem to have pulled a bit of a gap between Alexander, but he's still there. He's still with these guys. Some really nice camera shots around this track, as Dan said in yesterday's stream, filling in for what's the word? I can't think of the word. Filling in for Cryptek, who couldn't make it. Unfortunate for him. Missed out on a good race, I'd say. It's not bad, honestly. Not a bad race indeed. And this one's had action right from the start. Woody down to 7th place. I think he said he chose the Jag because he wanted to be different from the guys around him. But that Jag does have some straight line speed. What can it do against the McLaren that lacks a little bit in momentum and straight line speed? Is he going to try and work a move into the final corner, try and set himself up for something into turn 1? You can see there all the cars going through nice and cleanly. And let's get the UI back up so we can see what's going on. So Wolfie leads the way from Kyler, T-Toppers and Ted are your top 4. Here goes Woody for a move down the inside in towards turn 1 on the blue McLaren. Can he get the move done? Looks like Tom the Bomb's going to try and hold it round the outside. They're still going to go wheel to wheel. The Jag is more of an understeering, driving styled car. So if you like understeer, the Jag is definitely the one for you. But the field is so closely contested. These two still going wheel to wheel through the long swoop-in right-hander. Such a nice corner. ND as well is going to try and capitalise on this fight for 6th place. As a Dan's dropped to the back of the grid, might have made a slight mistake on that lap. But the whole grid, 11 cars separated by 7.5 seconds. Absolutely so close here. Let's have a look just quickly at what tyres everyone's starting on. Everyone's actually on the medium tyres. Here goes Cutlery down the inside of Dan. Can Dan hold it on the right-hand side? It becomes the inside line for turn number 8. That's ND off down at turn 8, 7 and 8. The combination of the two, you can see there all the cars starting to spread out a little bit. The top 4 starting to pull away. But Dan and Cutlery Hound still going to go wheel to wheel. Dan though is able to get ahead of the Subaru. Definitely the straight line speed is helping, but he's going to send the bus, as some like to call it, into the final corner. There's a little bit of contact. Dan's able to maintain 9th place for now. Let's see if he can keep it going in towards turn 1. It looks like it though. That Subaru definitely lacks in straight line speed. T-Toppers and Ted going wheel to wheel into turn 1. The Toppers is able to hold it round the outside of the chasing Irishman, who's trying to stop his teammate from winning another race in a row. But I think he might know Wolfie has the pace around this track like he's been showing all season. Hasn't really put a foot wrong in the first 5 races of Group 2. Ted looks like he might have tried to send one down the inside. Maybe a little bit cautious going into the braking zone. T-Toppers though is out of the slipstream to Kyler Love. It's been put on reduced for this race and for the rest of the season after the drivers voted to knock it down from weak. And that's the Scout down off into the barrier at turn 3 into 4. That's a really awkward place to crash. What happened here? Let's ride on board. Does he get on the grass on the outside? Oh, it does, and then he takes air over the little sand dune. And unfortunately, from there you're just a passenger. And the beautiful Ferrari, all Ferraris are beautiful, does have front damage. Might be into the pits to get that repaired. Might not be all too bad. We saw what Manuel could do pitting early. He was able to fight his way back through the field. But currently, it's what's this? 4-5 Italian cars are in the top 5. Where they should be, someone's off, and that's Tom the Bomb, off down the start-finish straight. I'm not sure how he's gone off there, but maybe a lack of concentration. I guess we'll never know. But Wolfie still has that crucial 8/10 lead, just enough to get him outside of the slipstream for now. Kyler Love, though, is going purple through the first sector. Let's have a look further down the grid. I think the Scaps are starting to space out a little bit. Dan's going to the medium tyres. Does have to pit twice more for the softs and the super softs. Ted though is gaining on the back of T-Toppers early on in this race. The two Ferraris battling away. The gap 5 tenths between the two championship contenders, I think it's fair to say, although your current race leader is the one who's pulling away. Ted is 3 tenths quicker than his personal best. Comparing that to T-Toppers' personal best, 1 minute 18.9, he is a tenth quicker. Let's ride on board and see what he can do through the final corner. You can see this the long swooping medium speed right-hander. A lot of medium speed corners around this track, which is why the tyre wear is so high. He's tucked in to the slipstream quite nicely though. Not quite close enough though to try and challenge into turn 1. Kyler's dropping off a little bit as well from Wolfie. The gap opening up to a second though. Ted is still keeping up though with T-Toppers in the early phases of this race. We've got 6 laps to go. Sorry, not 6 laps to go. That would have been a very short race if there were 6 laps to go already. We're on lap 6 out of 42. We're a 7th of the way through the race. 6 times 7 is 42. Quick maths. But T in front two starting to pull away from T-Toppers and Ted, and obviously the rest of the field. But these two probably the closest championship contenders that are up there at the minute. That might have been a mistake from someone. I thought I saw an arrow. I think Alexander has made a mistake on the exit of turn 5. I think he went a little bit too deep, too wide, and definitely lost that some momentum somewhere, because his fellow Irishman Woody 212 is going to challenge him in the Jaguar, currently a tenth quicker than his personal best, which was set on the previous lap, and that has definitely cost them a lot of time. They're going to go wheel to wheel through the long swooping turn 9. Melix Anders though is going to send one into the final corner, push Woody wide. It looked like there was a little bit of door banging between the two. Woody's unable to keep it onto the track, goes off into the gravel, rejoins behind. That was a lot of time lost. Let's have an onboard to see how much time was really lost there. You can see there's contact there, and then Melix Anders just gets the run. There was a little bit of contact, but I think Woody just drives himself off. You can see the understeer, just the lift off in the end was a bit too late, realising he wasn't going to make the corner. He's now dropped 1.7 seconds behind Melix Anders in 5th place. He's now 4.7 seconds behind Ted MC 24, who's trying to chase down T-Toppers for the final podium's position around this track. But if a lot of drivers, I don't know how many of these drivers watched the race yesterday in Group A, but the undercut and the through stop was surprisingly well. I don't know if it was because of Manuel's pace, don't know if it was because of his car choice around this track. The Renault Megane is definitely a really nice car to drive, lacks in straight line speed, but its cornering ability is amazing. I can't wait to see what he can do around the likes of Brands Hatch. That should be a really strong track for Manuel, possibly even into Lagos. Despite the massive long straight between the final corner and turn 4, you could even say turn 5 with that little straight there. But the gaps are starting to open up a little bit, which I think is where strategy comes into play, because this is exactly what happened in the race yesterday. The gaps open up, and we just have to wait and see who makes the first call into the pits. We know Dan is coming to the pits for another set of medium tyres. I think probably should have gone soft tyres so he can capitalise on the guys around him. I think the medium soft, super soft, sorry, that took some time to say, is definitely one to consider, but just based on the gap between the soft and the medium tyre, like just their overall pace, it's quite significant. As I found out to my unfortunate despair in Blooming Speedway for round 1 last season, but I'd try something different. Didn't pay off. It kind of did towards the end, but I just needed to be in the slipstream for the Subaru to be effective. Speaking of the Subaru, it's currently in 10th place, only 8 tenths behind ND. But yeah, the downside of the Subaru is its front tyre wear is atrocious, so you have to put your brake bias on 5 to counter it. Not sure if Cutlery Hounds has done that, judging by the significant wear to the front 2 tyres. I'm going to guess not. But yeah, some interesting cars and an interesting location for that car. That is a monumental accident for Abyss and his Ferrari. I think we're going to have a replay just to see what exactly went on there into the final corner. Probably drifted out wide. Yeah, just didn't get the turn in, and that is a huge crash into the barrier. Significant damage for the Ferrari. And he will be into the pits to get everything repaired. will drop behind the Scout Dan. But the gap, yeah, the Ted's now dropped 2/10 that lap. It's now 1.8 tenths behind T Toppers, who is showing some great pace in the league, except he just can't abide by the rules. So actually Ted is in the net second place here, because Kyler Love did change to a set of super soft tyres in the qualifying session. Wolfie actually made a mistake there. Ran a bit too deep on the exit, turn 7 in towards turn 8. Look at the time coming down in the top left. It was 2.4 seconds. He's lost 4/5 tenths as the gap's now 1.8 seconds. So a few mistakes crawling in for the championship leader. Looks like he's taking it a little bit cautiously through the final corner, just trying to keep his car on track. I'm sure the guys behind though trying to get every inch of time they can find to try and close down the gaps to the leader. Someone's off. That's another major crash for someone at the final corner. It is for Woody, and he's having to reverse out of the sandbags. I don't think he realises you can actually go straight down and it leads you into the pit lane. But that's going to cost him a lot of time. Someone's off as well. What's going on? Cutlery hands though. He's in his natural habitat for that car. He's able to keep it out of the barrier. That's one of the many benefits of being in the Subaru. Someone's also off at the final corner. Turn 4, sorry. That's T Toppers, and he's dropped himself down to 6th place. What is going on here? He's lost the rear on the exit of turn 1. Did he hit the barrier? No, he doesn't. He just keeps off. Someone else is off, I think, at the final corner as well. I know that was just the replay cameras. The Scout Dan's off. He's into the pits for a set of fresh tyres. Woody and Abyss making mistakes at the final corner, both picking up a significant amount of damage. You can see there Abyss this is his 3rd time into the pits. What is happening here? So T Toppers going wide at turn 1 has cost him so many positions. He's now down to 6th place, and that just goes to show how punishing this track is. But it does provide some great racing. And I'm sorry, but if your excuse for this track being a bad track is that it punishes you when you go off, then I'm sorry, but that's not a good enough excuse. It's like saying Monaco's a bad track because if the walls are too close or something like that. It does promote overtaking. But in my opinion, a track doesn't promote overtaking unless it's a straight line with a hairpin. I'm sorry, but that's just my point of view. Someone's off though at turn 8. Speaking of, it's the Scout down his outlap. No damage, but a slight mistake there, going a little bit too deep into the corner. So quite a few mistakes creeping in. Ted's dropped 5.6 seconds behind. Not sure if he's made a mistake or if that was just... Actually, no, he didn't make a mistake. There was a slight mistake, though. Speaking of, he was behind T Toppers, so that 1.8 seconds gap to the Frenchman, added on to his 4-second gap to Kyler Love, has added up to about 5.7 seconds there. So yeah, mistakes creeping in already. But I don't think you can judge how good how do you say, I don't know how to word this. But I don't think, this is just my opinion, you can't say there's a good and bad track. Well, you can, but okay, Monaco, for example, it's a good track. It doesn't promote overtaking because there are, it's a Monaco. The cars just aren't wide enough. But for tracks like this, people are like, it doesn't, you can't overtake. It's just impossible to overtake. It's not. You can't. I don't know how to word this. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But if it's up to the drivers to promote a good race. I know they can be tricky if you quote unquote can't overtake. But that's where the pace, your driving ability, setting up another driver. That's where that all comes into play. We had an absolutely action-packed start to this one. Here goes Woody though on the move on the Scout down. That looked a little bit too easy. I think Dan might have let him go there. Might try and use Woody to carry him along in this second stint. Dan's gone into a set of medium tyres. I don't think he's pit for tyres. Bizarre strategy. I would have pit for tyres if I was him. Wolfie's able to pull out a 3.2 second lead early on. That could be crucial. Tom de Bon and Melix Andrews though battling for 4th place. Just like I was saying before, no track, or all tracks promote overtaking. It's just how you go about doing it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. If you get the right drivers and the right cars at the right track, then there's always overtaking. Take the Monza sprint race, for example. That had absolutely no overtaking, but then you get to the normal race and there's overtaking absolutely everywhere. Mostly everywhere. it's almost like, because also I don't think, for people like people might say the Russian Grand Prix was the best race this season, but is that because Lando was winning and Carlos Sainz was second, third-ish? Is it because there was rain at the end? Because if so, then that's not a good race, because it didn't have overtaking. Well, it did have overtaking with like Hamilton and Verstappen and Leclerc working their way through the grid, but yeah, it's what is a good race? For this is a good race for Wolfie. This is a bad race for Woody and the Scout Dan at the minute, who have made mistakes earlier on in the race, and it's punished them because this track is very punishing. It's like Monaco is the punishing track, Singapore is the punishing track. You make a mistake, you're in the wall and you get damaged. So I stand by my initial opinion and say that this is a good track. I think all tracks in this game well, the majority of them are good for overtaking. Even Goodwood is a good track for overtaking, but not in these cars. You go to N600, N700, maybe the vintage cars, the classic cars, which are absolutely insane in GT7. I cannot wait for them. Yeah, that's just my point of view on things. I know drivers will say otherwise. Alexander's though is into the pits, and look at Cutlery Hands' tyre wear. We've reduced tyre wear this season, and not even my tyres were that bad. This track is very punishing on the tyres. Let's get rid of a few things just so we can have some nice cinematic shots of these cars going around the track. But the gaps are starting to open up. It's just who pits first. Cutlery Hands is into the pits. He might be watching the stream, or he's just seeing his tyre wear and how bad those front two tyres are. We've still got all 11 drivers who started this race. A few couldn't make it for tonight. We have a few spots open. I think one or two spaces are free for this group. So if you think you can challenge the likes of Wolfie, Kylo, Love, Ted, who are currently your top three in this race, please send me a message or join our Discord, and we'll try and get you in. We'll do a few laps to see what your pace is like. Then you can feel free to join. It's Saturday night. It's 8 o'clock UK time, or 9 o'clock Central European time. But yeah, you can see if we actually get the track map up. I know you didn't sit here to watch the track map. We've actually gone purple in the second sector. Everyone's quite spaced out. You can see they're first to sixth. They're probably evenly gapped between everyone, apart from maybe Ted and Kyler Love. But the top six are all on mediums. Alexander's onto the softs. And Woody actually sets the fastest lap at 17.8. As we cut back to the live action of everyone going round the circuit. Fun fact about this track, it hasn't actually changed its layout at all. I don't think anything's changed about it since 1960. That is pretty impressive. Obviously it's not really used for GT cars. It's more used for vintage classic cars, those types of races, if you get what I mean. Or just driving, really. I think the likes of Willow Springs and the Horse Thief, those types of tracks are here. If we got a wide shot sometime of hopefully we get a wide shot. That is the opposite of a wide shot, but you can actually see the other tracks in the background because they're all so close to one another. But I think they're like the Nürburgring. I think you can just drive around them, and they're nice tracks for driving around. Racing in these cars, I would say otherwise. You need slower cars for good racing at the other two tracks. But this race has had an amazing start, and Abyss, who's opted for corner cutting down at turn 7 and 8, too deep into 7, couldn't make 8 it seems, has taken off into the gravel and the dirt of the desert, and has lost 5.7 seconds, and that time loss is only going to escalate as he works his way down the straight into the long swooping right-hander with all that lack of momentum. But I think it's that time where we talk about the liveries. Yay! We actually know we done that at the start, didn't we? No, we went through cars at the start. Let's talk about liveries. So Wolfie currently leading the way, 4.4 seconds to Kyler Love. A nice green, pink and black design Ted MC was the designer of this car, and I rate it. I really do like it. Kyler Love, though, is into the pits. We'll get his Manchester United. Actually, no, he won't look at the Manchester. Sorry. Liverpool fans, Manchester United, kind of rivals at the minute. Have been for some time. But Ted has gone for the same design as his teammates, but has gone for a red, pink and black livery scheme, colour scheme instead. Do love that indeed. Very, very nice. Tom the Bomb, a nice, plain but simple and effective blue McLaren. Not a colour often associated with blue, with McLaren, sorry, not a colour associated with blue. But it's a nice gradient from a kind of darker blue to a lighter blue towards the back. Has moved his way up into the podium due to pit stops. The classic Martini livery for T-toppers in his Ferrari. MD with an interesting black and white kind of cobweb. I don't know what type of design you would call it. Kind of very artsy, very modern style to it. 90-degree straight lines. I don't know what the technical term is. I'm sure an artist will be able to, if there's some sort of design for that. But Kyler Love, after pitting, is going to have a good look at MD's livery. He's now right behind his fellow Lamborghini, sorry. We can get on the front of Kyler's Lamborghini. You can just see how close he's getting. Is he going to go for a move into the final corner? I didn't press that button. I didn't want that camera angle. MD kind of lets him go through, and Kyler Love flashes his lights as he makes his way up into fifth place. Merrick Sanders is actually gaining on these guys as well. People are into the pits and they're missing it. It's Ted and Tom the Bomb into the pits. Ted has got a lot of fuel, or a lot more fuel than Tom the Bomb. He might have been saving when he was behind T-toppers and is into a set of soft compound tyres. It looked like he forgot to shift up there from second gear. Oh, there we got some racing happening here between Woody and Tom the Bomb, as Woody makes his way up into 7th place. I think that was Merrick Sanders getting past ND there. Let's have a quick look and see if the replays go far enough back. Could be Merrick Sanders getting past ND here through turn 3. Merrick Sanders just more confident through the corners. I think he's also got fresher tyres, a lot fresher tyres around the outside of turn 3. Easy as you like, up into 4th place with a similar livery to ND, but with a nice purple, pink and blue scheme on the side instead. I really like that design. I do like those colour combinations put together. Wolfie decides to stay out with medium tyres after 19 laps. Interesting. T-toppers as well staying out. I think he's already quitted. No, he made a mistake earlier on. Sorry, apologise. ND though is into the pits from the medium tyres, which means Ted will regain 5th place. He's still got some cars in front who haven't made a pit stop yet. Some drivers going close to one another through the final corner. It's Woody and Tom the Bomb. Looks like this could be... Never mind, ND's still in the pits. I thought it was going to be close between the two. You can see Woody's gaining. We're going to go in the bonnet cam of the number 21 driver. What can he do as he looks for a move? Going to try and set himself up in towards turn 2. A long swooping right-hander, one of the many corners that really makes the tyres scream, gives them that extra bit of percentage wear added on. A little bit of lag from Tom the Bomb's McLaren as they approach the 90-degree left-hander of turn 3, in towards turn 4 and 5, as your race leader Wolfie is into the pits with 17 litres of fuel left in the tank. Let's have a look. The fuel gauge has been released. T-toppers is into the pits. Kyler Love stays out. Where is he going to be in respective to Wolfie? What's the time looking like? We're going to wait on the exit of turn 1. That'll give us a good representation of the time difference. Looks like it's about 5.6 seconds. I think Kyler has gained some time on his championship rivals. We've got a nice battle forming for 5th place here. Tom the Bomb is 1.3 seconds ahead of Woody. And Team Toppers is actually going to come out of the pits right in the thick of it here. He's in between Tom the Bomb and Woody. And Woody's now going to have Tom the Bomb slipstream, so that should make the move easier. Except Woody's on a lot more worn soft compound tyres than the ones that have just been put on Team Toppers' Ferrari. But the Lamborghini of ND is going to try and work his way around the outside of Woody, set himself up for a switchback move in towards turn 3, which will then become turn 4. Let's have an onboard shot from the roof of the Lamborghini, quite high up for such a low down car. It's a really interesting one. It's got a good run. Woody's gone a little bit deep. You can see there, ND, you can see the delta on the left is coming down. But that Jag is really quick in a straight line. Doesn't have the slipstream from T Toppers, who might try and set himself up for a move on Tom the Bomb here. I'm going to try and keep an eye out in the background to see if there are any moves behind as well. But it looks like we're going to probably see a move into turn 1. From which side of the fight it's going to come from, we're just going to have to wait and see. But Woody's ND's really tucked up behind. Woody T Toppers is tucked up behind Tom the Bomb. This is the middle stint where the overtakes are going to happen. We'll get more at the end as Team Toppers goes down the inside in towards turn 1. ND tries to follow him through, except following through from about 1-2 seconds behind as ND now makes his way up into 7th place. Team Toppers remains in 6th for now. He's going to try and use those fresh soft tyres to his advantage as he closes the gap quite significantly through the fast right-hander of turn 2. Does he go for anything into turn 3? Going to put his front bumper in there. Tom the Bomb leaves him plenty of room, but it's going to be the outside line for turn 4 into 5. And those fresh tyres working beautifully for T Toppers, and his Ferrari promotes himself up into 5th place. And can try and close down the 8.6 second gap to Ted, the 29 second gap to the current race leader and championship leader, Wolfie 907, as a few drivers into the pits getting lapped. Interesting, that's cutlery hands on fresh tyres with no fuel. He might have forgot to put the fuel in, and he's come out just ahead of, I think is that ND behind? It's not ND. Is that Melix Sanders? It is Melix Sanders. Just behind the Subaru cutlery hands. It's not going to make it easy for him, and that was not the best from cutlery hands. But Wolfie has set the fastest lap of the race in his last lap of 17.1. Really quick lap from him. Kieran in the chat saying, go on Tom the Bomb and Celery. I don't know who Celery is, unless you meant Cutlery, who's currently in 11th place. But I'm not sure who's the Celery here. But let's have a look for... Well, I was going to say this battle for 5th place, but I think T Toppers is just going to pull away on those fresh, soft tyres. And we're almost actually we're past the halfway mark of this race. We've been going for 29 minutes and 26 seconds, as stated in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. But I think this is our closest battle on the track, the battle for 6th place. To be fair, Cutlery Hands is keeping up with Melix Sanders here, and I know he's a lap down, but the rules do state you can unlap yourself as long as you don't, do anything stupid and hold them up. If you don't pull away, it's only right to let them go back through. You're asking where's Ted? Ted currently in 4th place, 4.9 seconds behind Melix Sanders, 22.4 seconds off the race leader Wolfie. His teammate leading this race, has led every single lap here at Willow Springs, apart from the first one where Kyla Love was able to put it on pole, but Wolfie was quickly able to negotiate his way past the Lamborghini. Looks like Cutlery Hands are starting to drop off a little bit from Alexander's. But the gap's starting to open up. Hopefully the strategy will work as intended and they will all close back down again for the final stint. Obviously not everyone's going to close back down. This 11-second gap. I think something needs to be done about this, guys. Wolfie is too quick. We're going to have to promote him to Group A. Didn't do too badly in Group A's race. Hopefully we can see him in Group A next season. Next season might be the penultimate or final GT Sport season we do here, because we have GT7 to be launched on the 4th of March, which I've already pre-ordered, obviously. Probably should have waited though, just in case there's any deals or new packs, or not packs, like additions, I don't know. I kind of just see something and I get bad. That's kind of an issue there. But I think in terms of plans for the next season, maybe starting it halfway through January after the Christmas break, and then maybe do a shorter season, and then maybe an 8-race calendar, and then we can get another season after that. So if we've done 8 races, that's 8 weeks, so 2 months. Half of Jan would be half of March, so next season could be the last GT Sport season we do. I know, it's so sad. If we start in an 8-race season halfway through January, that will take us... No, it won't take us halfway through February. No, right? It will take us halfway through March, sorry. I do apologise. So, that's going to have to be the aim, I think. If anyone has any suggestions, then let me know. We can always do events in between and afterwards. But for the last season, I don't know if any of the drivers are watching, but what would you like to do? What would you like to see as Alexander comes into the pits from a set of soft compound tyres? I don't know. Do we change it up from GT cars? Do we go Super Formula? Do we do... I don't know. What do we do? Do we do Group 1? Do we do a different car every week? 1 week's Group 3, Group 4, Group 2, Group 1, Super Formula, maybe rally cars, Mazda Roadsters, the old F1 car, maybe what are they called? The Red Bull Juniors, the Red Bull Standard cars, the Red Bull Competition cars, whatever. Maybe we could do that. 1 makes as well, maybe like the, I don't know, 1 race we do Group 3 Porsche, 1 race is Group 4, 1 race is, I don't know, the Toyota Yaris. Like, kind of like the Nations Cup do, they have a different car every week, and we do 8 races. I don't know, I see Pierre's in the chat, I don't know if any other drivers are. Maybe that could be an idea rather than doing Group 3 for the final season. Go-karting, we could even do a go-kart race. That would be fun. It'd be chaos, but it'd be fun. We'd have to do it at Tsukuba, obviously. Or Le Mans, on the Nürburgring. We could do like a 3-hour race. We could have one of the races 3 hours of Le Mans. Maybe, I don't know. Just some ideas. I don't know. If I was racing, I would prefer Group 3. I think Group 3 is my favourite car. And that'd be a nice way to finish the season, finish the league, finish it how we started. We could just do one-off events, but I think that, I don't know how much attendance we'd get. Someone's gone off. Who's gone off there? Who went off? I'm trying to see who's in between. It was Abyss. Abyss was the one who went off. That took too long to find, down at turn 8. T. Thomas, though, is closing the gap to Ted. for third place. So we'll be able to keep an eye on this. Oh, so sorry. Oh, that's Cutlery Hands getting all loose and out of shape through the final corner. We'll be showing the blue flags as Team Toppers makes his way through in the hunt downs for the podium position. Cannot finish on the podium though, nor can Kyla Love, both changing tyres during qualifying. So we'll get an LLP2, and that will promote Ted and Tom the Bomb up a few places as well. But yeah, if I don't think after the 4th of March, my concern is about the attendance. It's like if we've done a league on F1 2020, who's still going to be committed to playing that game when we have F1 2021? So it's unfortunate that it's come out in such an awkward time. I think an 8-race calendar is probably the best and only option. Someone's gone off. Who's gone off there? That's Tom the Bomb, and MD's having to go round and off the track to try and get past an unconventional way to get through. That's going to leave him vulnerable to Tom the Bomb though. Can the McLaren do anything into the final corner? Not in the slipstream, now in the slipstream. Let's watch this from curbs or track side, quite literally, as we've had quite a few mistakes here in this race. Really punishing track. Tom the Bomb though, unable to get past MD. T-Toppers is closing the gap to Ted. Let's have a look at the tyre wear. Ted is on a lot more worn soft tyres. I think T-Toppers is doing the strategy man well done yesterday. Ted is now under pressure from T-Toppers. The battle for third place and the final podium position. The gap is about 4 or 5 tenths between the two. He is gaining a lot on the Ferrari driver down the back straight in towards turn 9, the penultimate corner. Is he going to send one into the final corner? I think there might have been contact. Ted leaves the door open, and that promotes T-Toppers up into the podium. Let's have a look and see if there was contact between the two. This will give us all the answers we need. There wasn't. No contact. Ted just left the door open. T-Toppers said, thank you very much, but I don't think Ted's going to give this one up without a fight. I'm not sure he knows about T-Toppers' potential penalty that's coming his way. We're on lap 30 out of 42. We have 13 laps remaining, if you include the final one. What a battle we've got on our hands here. Cutlery Hands, though, really needs to get out of the way. And that is compromised Alexander so much in this battle for 5th place. Might get a penalty, although it's not going to affect him much being in last place. Maybe just an after race warning. It's going to have to be it. MD deep into turn 3. That's going to leave him more vulnerable now to Tom the Bomb and Maddox Angles. We've got a 3-way fight for 5th place here. And for all those who are saying this track doesn't promote overtaking and close racing, I'm going to prove you wrong. Tom the Bomb's actually got damage. That's going to definitely leave him vulnerable, but it's not going to stop him from trying to get past the ND here. He's in the slipstream, using the McLaren to its full advantage. He's going to try and get past ND down the back straight in towards as we approach turn 9, sorry. Can he do anything? I'm not sure he can though with that rear damage. Looks like Alex Andels is going to try and capitalise. Tom the Bomb is going a little bit wide. Can he keep it on the track? He does so just, and doesn't decide to come into the pits, decides to stay out. Ted is into the pits. There's only 5 litres of fuel. That will drop him down behind these guys into 7th place. Woody's coming around the final corner now. ND though going down the inside of Melix Andels. He's able to hold it round the outside. Tom the Bomb going to try a switchback move. Try and see what he can do. He's now going to get the inside line for turn 2. The long swooping right-hander, which is so fun in these cars, we have to say. As they're now going wheel to wheel through turn 2. Tom the Bomb, despite his damage, is able to capitalise, and Endy's lost 2 positions in the space of a lap. He's going to try and fight this one back to the inside, but on the outside line, Tom the Bomb makes it up into 5th place. Looking at the tyres, well, Melisandre's definitely got the freshest, Endy's definitely got the worst. Tom the Bomb has that rear damage and rear left suspension damage he's going to have to deal with for the rest of this race until he pits for a set of super soft tyres, which Ted has gone on to and is now in 7th place, 56 seconds behind the race leader Wolfie, who will probably be into the pits this lap considering his fuel light is on. Going back down to the battle for 5th place, Tom the Bomb with an increased lack of straight line speed with the damage he has, lack of handling as well. He's definitely not going to have any rear grip. Thankfully these Group 4 cars aren't as quick, aren't as powerful as the Group 2 cars we were just in. Here we go now, Endy gaining quite significantly down the start finish straight, breaks a little bit early, but looking at his fuel light, it's understood quite a bit actually into turn 1. I think he will probably be into the pits this lap. Pierre though, making an interesting point in the chat. This is America. US back markers can defend against the leaders for not being a lap down. Disrespect the country's traditions, lol. Here though it's slightly different. This isn't American racing, despite the fact we are at an American track. It looks like T Toppers is having difficulties passing Abyss, but he does actually move out of the way quite nicely there. Lets the Frenchman go through. Endy though is still putting Tom the Bomb under pressure, despite the fact that he'll probably be into the pits at the end of this current lap. Someone's into the pits, and that's your current 2nd place man, Kyler Love, who does have another penalty for changing tyres during qualifying. Someone's off though at turn number 7 and 8. It is Cutlery Hands in the Subaru. Let's ride on board with ND though, going around the final corner in this beautiful Lamborghini. Kyler Love's in for a set of soft tyres. Has he used... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We've gone back to lap 29, ladies and gentlemen. What happened here? What can we look at that happened on lap 29? I don't think anything's happened here. Let's get back off that. On to lap 33, the current lap. Has Kyler Love used the super soft tyres? I'm not sure he has. I'm pretty sure he's on medium soft, super soft. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to quickly check back in the stream. Wolfie though is into the pits. Your race leader is in. So I can confirm, guys, Kyler Love has gone from the mediums onto the softs, but I thought he started on the mediums. Okay, bear with me, I'm just going back through the stream. So Kyler on pole started this race on... This is taking too long for me to calculate. T Thomas is into the pit for a fresh set of boots, should be for the super soft tyres. So Kyler started on mediums. Did he pit during the race? Where is Ted actually? Where is Ted in all this? He's now behind T Toppers, so the undercut hasn't quite worked for him. T Toppers onto a fresh set of super softs. So for the final few laps, it's going to have to be who is the quicker driver on track to get the podium position, but except T Toppers is going to be demoted a few positions with the penalty. So if you excuse me for just a few seconds. I'm so confused about the strategy. Normally, it never normally is this complicated. Or I never usually have this much trouble. Excuse me for just 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to watch the race back. Yeah, I'm not sure if Carter's used the super softs or not. I'm not sure what his strategy's been. He's pitted between lap 27 and 31. No, he hasn't. Those were penalties. Lap 31 was when he pitted. But surely he wasn't on the medium tyres for that long. Sorry, guys. I don't know if I can check. There's no way of me checking. It's just... I have absolutely no idea. I'm going to have to watch it after the race. But the Scout Dan and Cutlery Hands are into the pits. Ted's not making much of an impression if he wants to gain on T-Toppers and demote him a few spots when he gets his penalty. But currently in fourth, well, it's currently in second place actually, Ted. Kind of into the pits. I don't know if he's watching the stream or if it's just a moment of realisation that he hasn't used the super soft tyres. Let's have a look. I think it is the moment of realisation that he hasn't used the super soft tyres. But he's able to come out in second place just ahead of T-Toppers. Both of these guys have LLP2s for changing compounds during the qualifying session. And I made it very clear before the race, you can put a fresh set on, but you can't change compounds. And I'm sure there are a number of drivers in this lobby who can back me up and say that I said it twice before the race started. But we're going to have a battle on our hands here for second place. Can T-Toppers get ahead of Kyler Love in the remaining 7 laps of this race? Wolfie has just absolutely blown this one away. He's already on the start-finish straight, starting lap 37 of 42. We've got 7 laps to go. And a battle ensuing for second place. But Kyler's fresh tyres might just be enough to secure him second place on track. T-Toppers though does have less fuel. That is still all to play for here. Ferrari versus Lamborghini. Such a beautiful battle to see on track. It's a shame we didn't get some of these cars last season. We've got some cars running closer together. It's Ted and Abyss. 2 drivers who are not fighting for position. Looks like Kyle is just gapping T-Toppers just a little bit, just enough for him to maintain second place. The gap is 0.8 of a second between the 2 drivers. He is putting it back though, just slightly. Ted is, what, 7 seconds behind? I think all the gaps have opened up behind and in front, to be honest. Wolfie with quite a big lead. Can T-Toppers gain second place on the track? Definitely will help him out in the championship with his penalty as well. Mistake there, possibly. The gap's opened back up now to 1.2 seconds. That could be his fight over. That could have been the crucial mistake. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Someone's into the pits. Currently Abyss in 10th place with a 1.3 second time penalty. Not sure where you're cutting corners here, but I guess it's doable. We've almost finished the first race of Group 4, and I've got to say, definitely a really good start to the season. What would you call it? Good start to the car class. We're currently in the second third. if you'd like. Round 6 of 15. Each section being split into 3. Each car class. We started with Route 2, we're in Route 4. And we're going to finish the season in Route 3, specifically at Track and Trail Gardens. And someone who has gone off into the gardens of what's this track called? Big Willow. I didn't forget what this track is called. A Abyss doing donuts in the desert, Willow Springs. I'm not sure flat out, mate, is the best way to do this. The game resets him back to the track and brings out the yellow flag. Some dust being kicked up there from Kyler Love. Ted isn't able to make much of an impression. T-Top is in front, and it looks like Wolfie is on track to secure another victory in this championship. It's been a very dominant one-sided affair here. It's kind of been like this for the majority of the season. Completely forgot about this, but well, yeah, Wolfie domination's too easy. We're gonna have to get rid of him. Him and Dutchy we're gonna have to get rid of. But towards the end of this race, I was gonna do this at the start, but I completely forgot. Some track information about Willow Springs. I said this at the start, but it hasn't changed its layout since 1960, or the 1960s even. And yeah, a really iconic track. It's got 10 corners, majority to the right, a few to the left. How many to the left exactly? I think 3 to the left. Turn 1, 3, and 7 are to the left. The rest are to the right. There's a 164-foot elevation change. 756.39 meters is the length of the longest straight, which I believe is the run into turn 1. And this total track length is 2.46 miles, times it by 1.6 to get it into kilometers. As Wolfie starts the final lap of the race, and it looks like he is going to be able to secure another win here in this championship. The fight's down the rest of the grid and not over yet, but it might take a mistake for someone. Someone looked like they went off the track there. Who was that? It's cutlery hands going off on the right hand side. But I think we're going to remove, let's get rid of the UI. I accidentally took a screenshot. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't realise print screen now takes screenshots on the PlayStation. This is still lap 41. This is still lap 41. We're about to start lap 42 out of 42. Let's actually get. Let's remove everything. Oh, he's off. Wolfie's off. On the final lap, he's got damage. But this is absolutely insane. I was going to go for a flying lap with him. Where is Kyler Love? He's only going through turns 7 and 8 now. Thankfully for Wolfie, he doesn't have more damage as he starts the final lap of the race. But Kyler Love and T-Toppers are going to be closing in like Chick Hicks and the King were back in the original Cars movie. What a throwback that is. Except I think the gap is a bit too big and not enough time left in the race. But that was I think there is that's what you call a brown trouser moment. Someone's off though at turn 7. It's Cutlery Hands currently in 11th place, but Dan's now been able to go right behind Wolfie. And can you imagine the scenes if he'd got engine damage? That would have been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But the gap is coming down quite significantly. But I don't think it's going to matter, because we're going to... Oh, hang on, there might be an overtake here at the back. It is Woody and Tom the Bomb are going to start the final lap wheel to wheel and towards turn 1. It's been so long since I've been saying this. As Tom the Bomb to the outside is able to maintain 7th place, but going to go back up to Woody now at Wolfie. He's going round the final corner. He's got the Scout down behind for company with the damage that he picked up on the penultimate lap. But it doesn't matter, because after lap 1, he's led every single lap, and he's going to weave up to the line and wins here in the Willow Springs Big Willow. Tom the Bomb still put under pressure from Woody. The battle for 7th place, which has only got a few corners left to go. But Kyler Love flashing his lights as he's able to keep T. Thomas behind him, and will finish this race in 2nd place as he goes around the final corner up to the line, takes a podium on track. So does T. Thomas, but it's going to be a penalty for both of them for changing tyres during qualifying. Ted MC will take 2nd place, finishes the race in 4th place. Alexander was closely behind in 5th, and someone's not gone off. It's a Pearson. Oh no! Oh no, that's not what you want to see on the final lap. Woody absolutely careering into the back of Abyss, who finishes in 10th place. Woody picks up damage. Cartwright Hands finishes in 11th. But it's a familiar helmet, it's a familiar suit and a familiar name on the top step of the podium. And it's Wolfie907 who wins after a dramatic end to the race to conclude a dramatic start to the Group 4 series. Here in the Group B Championship, Wolfie extends his lead out in front. Kyler and T. Thomas finish on the podium in 2nd and 3rd. However, Ted Melex will get promoted up there with their penalties. But following that, we have ND, Tom the Bomb, Woody, who unfortunately had that incident. Gonna have to remind people of the blue flags, it seems. The Scout, Dan, Abyss and Cutlery Hands round out the top, the bottom half of the grid. But I hope you guys have enjoyed watching here in Big Willow. Join us at the same time next week for the first wet race of the season at the Red Bull Ring. Still in the Group 4 cars, same time, same place, and we'll see you then. And it's goodbye from me.